Jesus Christ, look at that. That wave is a good 15, 20 feet tall.
On the morning of December 26, 2004, while some people on one part of the world celebrated Christmas, millions of people stood on these shores and watched the sea disappear. They didn't know the ocean wasn't leaving, it was loading. No alarms, no warnings, no idea. Because miles under their feet, the planet had already pulled the trigger. What happened next became the deadliest tsunami of the 21st century. A disaster so massive it changed coastlines, nations, and the Earth itself.
Gabby and the kids emerging from the barber shop.
There was just people running everywhere, and Josh just said, get everything and run.
Just before 8 a.m., deep beneath the Indian Ocean, pressure that had been building for centuries finally snaps. The boundary between the Indian plate and the Burma microplate ruptures violently, not slowly, not gracefully, but like a steel cable whipped to its breaking point. A magnitude 9.1 megathrust earthquake erupts.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
The third largest ever recorded. The ground shakes for 10 straight minutes.
Oh my God.
To put that into perspective, most major earthquakes last less than 20 seconds. Roads buckle, concrete cracks. Entire villages sway like they're made of paper. But the earthquake, massive, terrifying, is not the true killer.
When you get to 8.9, we're up in the top earthquakes in recorded history. And it lasted for 8 minutes, just the earthquake.
Because at the bottom of the ocean, something far worse is unfolding. Along nearly 1,000-mile stretch of fault, the seafloor violently thrusts upward by as much as 60 feet in some places. Imagine the entire floor of the ocean suddenly jumping up by the height of a 6-story building. Billions of tons of water are launched upward instantly, and that water needs somewhere to go. It begins its journey not as a surface ripple, but as a deep, unstoppable wall of energy. Wave speed, 500 to 600 miles per hour. The speed of a commercial airliner.
By the time you get up to something like 10, the only way to get that much energy and get that larger magnitude would essentially be to shear the Earth in half.
Above the surface, no one sees a thing. To the naked eye, the water looks calm, normal, innocent. But beneath it, the countdown has already begun. Northern Sumatra, the closest major landmass to the epicenter. The first target. People begin noticing something strange. The ocean is pulling back, fish flopping, boats stranded on sand, tourists laughing, pointing cameras. They don't know that when the ocean retreats suddenly, it's not leaving, it's loading. 8:15 a.m. A dark line appears on the horizon, growing, rising, becoming a wall, and then it hits. A 20-foot tsunami slams into Banda Aceh with the force of a charging freight train. Buildings collapsing like cardboard paper, cars tumbling, entire neighborhoods ripped from their foundations. Within minutes, Banda Aceh, once home to 260,000 people, is transformed into a water-churned wasteland. Families separated, homes pulverized, thousands dead before they even understood what was happening. But the ocean isn't finished. Not even close.
I look at the sea and I see horrible things.
Across the sea, Thailand is calm, sunny, peaceful. Vacationers sip coconut drinks and children play along Khao Lak's perfect beaches. 2 hours have passed since the earthquake. Plenty of time for danger to be forgotten.
And the island is so gone so quiet, so peaceful. There's a restaurant setting up, right? You know that people go out for Christmas dinner, they wear white. And it looks amazing. It's like heaven.
9:28 a.m. The sea begins to withdraw again. Tourists wander toward exposed seashells, walking further and further out. No sirens, no warnings, just curiosity. At 9:30 a.m., paradise turns into hell. A 30-foot wall of water rises and crashes into Khao Lak at full speed. Resorts vanish, pools disappear, entire hotel lobbies gone in seconds.
I saw that huge wave is about half of the coconut tree. It's driving into me like Oh, and that noise, and people scream, and I close my eye. I think, I can't do anything. I did.
Underwater footage shows families dragged beneath debris, beach chairs, umbrellas, jet skis lifted and hurled like toys. Khao Lak becomes one of the deadliest single locations in Thailand. The wave doesn't break, it destroys. Farther west, Sri Lanka is preparing for a normal day. On board train 8050, famously known as the Queen of the Sea, more than 1,500 passengers ride along the scenic coastline. Families, commuters, children heading home for the holidays. When the wave hits, the sound is indescribable, something between thunder and a roaring engine. The entire fully loaded train is lifted off its tracks, tossed sideways and smashed into trees and houses. Carriages fill with water instantly. Passengers climb seats trying to breathe. Doors jam under pressure. It becomes the deadliest train disaster in human history. Across Sri Lanka, fishing villages are hit brutally. Entire communities erased in minutes. India's southeastern coast has no tsunami memory. Generations have fished its waters safely. Just after 9 a.m., villagers watch the water recede, some walking out to gather stranded fish. Moments later, the tsunami arrives. Entire villages are swept away. Families vanish together. Coastal neighborhoods collapse as the wave tears inland. The death toll rises into the tens of thousands. Nearly 7 hours after the earthquake, the tsunami, still powerful, strikes Somalia, Kenya, and Tanzania. Fishing villages with no warning systems watch the ocean rise suddenly and destroy everything. Even thousands of miles away, the wave kills hundreds. When the waters finally settle, the scale is almost incomprehensible. 230,000 plus dead.
You're watching Sky News live at 5 from Phuket in Thailand. The awful scale of the tsunami that caused such devastation around the Indian Ocean became all too clear today.
1.7 million displaced, 14 countries affected, a disaster so massive, it altered the Earth itself. The Earth's axis shifts by nearly an inch. Days become microseconds shorter. The shape of the Indian Ocean floor changes forever. Meanwhile, survivors search for family members, clinging to photographs, clothing, anything left behind. In some regions, there are not enough living to bury the dead. In the days that follow, the world mobilizes. Military aircraft, hospital ships, rescue teams, billions in aid, blood drives, medical tents. The biggest humanitarian response since World War II.
What we're increasingly concerned with, of course, is identification of victims, of the bodies, trying to find out where the British victims are.
Before 2004, the Indian Ocean had no tsunami warning system. None. After this disaster, nations unite to build a vast network of deep ocean sensors, tidal gauges, satellites, and emergency alert protocols. Today, the Indian Ocean is one of the most closely monitored basins on Earth. The Indian Ocean looks calm now. Tourists swim, children play along the same beaches that vanished beneath waves. But beneath the surface lies the memory of a day when the ocean rose without mercy and changed the world in a single morning.
20 years ago, the Indian Ocean tsunami, which emanated as a result of an earthquake that occurred off the coast of Indonesia, had devastating consequences. We lost so many lives.
Before the world understood the scale of the disaster, before news cameras arrived, before satellites captured the scars along entire coastlines, survivors were already living through the unthinkable. Every survivor remembers the same thing. The sound. Not like thunder, not like wind, but something deeper. A monstrous rolling roar. The sound of the ocean breaking rules it had obeyed for thousands of years. Thailand becomes the most internationally visible disaster zone. Why? Because thousands of tourists had cameras. In Sri Lanka, the devastation is different, not just coastal destruction, but communities erased altogether. When the water retreats, it doesn't leave peace behind. It leaves disease, it leaves hunger, it leaves tens of thousands of missing people. It leaves children without parents, and parents without children. The dead are so numerous that mass graves become the only option. The smell of the aftermath can be detected from miles away. A UN worker said, "You didn't need directions. Your nose could take you right to the disaster zone."
There were bodies everywhere and little babies, and saying to the children, "Don't look, kids, don't look."
Scientists studying the event discover startling facts. The rupture line stretched 800 to 1,000 miles. The quake released energy equal to 23,000 Hiroshima bombs.
We were experiencing a once-in-a-lifetime disaster, and it was not over. Tsunamis are rare, but they're incredibly destructive.
The Earth's axis shifted by 0.8 inches. The entire planet vibrated for days. Some Indonesian coastlines permanently moved up to 60 feet. Sea levels in the Bay of Bengal changed permanently. The planet is literally different after the tsunami. Across the world, something extraordinary happens. Within hours, governments, NGOs, volunteers, doctors, military forces mobilize on a scale not seen in decades. Cargo planes carrying food, water, blankets, and medicine. Aircraft carriers turning into floating hospitals. Engineers rebuilding roads and bridges. Locals forming search parties day and night. The global relief effort becomes one of the largest in human history, nearly $14 billion in aid. For the first time in years, the world is united by something other than conflict. When the waves receded, they didn't just leave destruction behind. They left stories. They left names. They left empty chairs at dinner tables and photographs that will never be updated. They left children searching the faces of aid workers, hoping, praying, to see someone familiar. They left parents who still wake up reaching for a child who is no longer there. They left coastlines that will never look the same, and people who will never be the same. In every country touched by the tsunami, there are graves that hold entire families. There are memorials with names that stretch longer than the seawall they're built on. There are survivors who carry guilt, simply because they lived. A grandmother in Sri Lanka lights a candle each year for the children she lost. A fisherman in Indonesia keeps his son's sandals by the door, just in case. A hotel worker in Thailand wakes at night to the sound of waves that aren't there. The disaster ended in a single day. For them, it has not ended at all. Today, the beaches look peaceful again. The water is clear. The horizon is calm. Children play where the waves once took so much. But if you stand there long enough, if you listen carefully, you can feel it. The memory the ocean still carries. Not as a threat, not as a warning, but as a reminder of everything that was lost and everything the world found again in the days afterward. Our shared humanity. We rise, we rebuild, we remember.